Coming up on Coronado TV, I'm going to teach you how to make a Valentine's Day arrangement that you can create with your loved one in the safety of your own home. It's nice to see all of you again from the safety of your own home. Some of you may know me, I'm Maribel Herrera, and I'm going to teach you guys how to make a beautiful Valentine's Day inspired arrangement that you can do in the safety of your own home. You can create with another loved one, or you can just create it for yourself. So what we're going to start off with today is I have a beautiful gold compote style vase. I like the gildedness of it, the gaudiness of it. Who doesn't want to receive some gold on Valentine's Day? So I thought that we would start off with something just a little more gaudier. As some of you may know, we're going to start off with an oasis foam. Oasis foam is what absorbs all the water. We stick our stems in. It keeps everything nice and fresh. Again, we're going to utilize things that we can find in a grocery store. A lot of us through this pandemic are not able to go out there to the growers, to a flower shop, to the flower market. So I want you guys to be able to purchase things you can find in a grocery store. You can find at Lowe's, you can find at Home Depot, you can find at Walmart, anywhere like that, even plants. So we're gonna start off with some Monstera leaves that I grabbed from a little Monstera plant. And I'm gonna begin with 2 of them. So these guys are just fun. They're kind of heart-shaped when you look at them too. So we have something that's near and dear to our little hearts. I'm going to start off with 2 of them. So over on my right side, I'm just sticking one downward, and you can kind of see that it already gives a fun little movement and placement. I'm going to stick the other one right next door to it so that we're mimicking both feelings of it. And we have 2 hearts, because 2 hearts become 1, if we want to be cheesy like that. Then I have a little bit of ruscus, another greenery. This guy comes sometimes in mixed bunches of your flower bouquets that you can pick up at the grocery store. You use whatever greenery you have on hand. Even if you're at home and in your backyard you have a eucalyptus tree, you have a little something that's pepperberry tree, a little something like that. Go snip off a couple branches, cut them apart, and just begin putting them around in your oasis to cover up the bottom portion. Oh, bye, we got rid of that one. To cover up the bottom portion so that we're not going to see that oasis. And we're creating a shape. We're creating something that's all the way around. So the next thing that I have is some dianthus. Dianthus is a cousin of a carnation. They're very Dr. Seussy. They're very whimsical. They're very fun. These are personally one of my very, very personal favorite flowers. So as you can see too, a dianthus is round. Round takes up more space. So you could also do something with hydrangea, with kale, with mums. Those guys are larger focal flowers, nice and round, take up a lot of space, nice and heavy. So I'm gonna create 3 corners. I'm gonna put one right corner. So you can see we kind of created a triangle. So you can see that there's a triangle shape, kind of takes up every corner, and we're gonna follow the same format with roses. So I selected these really pretty hot pink roses. I thought they were very fun and festive and bright, and they're gonna go really gorgeously against this green dianthus. So we're gonna do the same kind of deal. I'm gonna put one next to each of my dianthus. So we're doing 1, 2. I like to move it around and swivel it around so I can see what I have going on from every angle. 3. And you can kind of see now we have something kind of in every corner. So 1, 2, 3. But we want a little bit more, something in the center. So we're going to put a couple more guys up there. So in between my space, I'm a little bit taller, so I'm able to see what's going on here. If you're a little bit shorter, you want to bring this guy a little bit more down and take a look from above. You want to be able to see everything from every angle, from a different perspective. 2. So you can kind of see that this is creating a shape. It's more rounded. You can see the roses are giving a little bit more of that round presence to it. You can also see that this color just like brightens out the green so much. It makes it pop, and that's exciting because as you can tell, I like color. So this hot pink just really livens it up and gives that fun, flirty, romantic feeling that we're kind of going for during Valentine's Day, that love feeling. So you can see we have our roses, our hot pink roses from every which way, shape, and corner, but we're not done. We want more roses because I like more. So we're gonna do another fun color. I have a really gorgeous gray lavender tone. So just like how we had something super hot and vibrant, we need something cool to bring it down. So I think these roses are gonna be absolutely phenomenal against the hot pink. So again, we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna grab these roses and put them in between my pinkies. And so that we can really see that variation, that color combination. We can see the contrast of the hot pink against this very beautiful pale lavender, kind of Earl Grey, an Earl Grey tone. So I'm just placing them in between. You cut one too short, that's okay. Just plop it in a little bit more. That's not a problem because we're going for a rounder compote shape. So that's okay if they're a little bit more down there. Don't be afraid to, if you cut too short, you can just stick it a little further in there because we want to have a round presence for all of it. We're not looking for all the odds and ins and outs as we have done in other arrangements previously. This is something that's just elegant, fun, but super classy and traditional. So we can see that there's still space right here. And luckily we still have roses, so we can fill up that space. So I'm just gonna keep plugging away. I got 2 more to go. And these roses, I left them out for a couple days just so that they could open up a little bit more. So we have something that they're still a little bit fuller and they're not so bulb, that they're not so tight. We want them to open up and really give you a show. Really show you some love. And there we go. So we can see that we filled up, just moving my trash over, we filled up practically every little crevice. Everything's pretty round. I'm just going back in and kind of looking at if I have any spaces that I see. Can I see my oasis? What's going on? Can't see my oasis anymore, which is really great. That means I covered up my mechanics properly because we don't want anyone to see all the mess underneath. We just want them to know that we created something pretty. So for the most part, it's done, but I'm never done. So we're gonna add a couple more accents. I have a little bit of wax flower that you can tell is a lot smaller than what we have going on with the roses of focal points. We want something that breaks up and gives a little bit more of a softness to it, not so much round and bold pieces. We want texture, we want harmony, we want balance. So I'm gonna throw in a little bit of wax. And then I have a really fun, vibrant carnation. This is another hot pink tone that's not exactly the same hot pink as this guy, as our rose. It's a little different variation. So I thought we'd add in just a couple carnations for the fun of it. So I'm doing the same thing with the wax. This is more of your designer choice. This is more of where do I see I have some spacing going on? Where do I have some holes? Let me place a little bit here, a little bit there. And wax is an accent flower. So if you can't find a wax flower, you can also use baby's breath, something traditional, solid aster, Monte Cassino, misty blue. There's a lot of different accent flowers that you can find at a grocery store mixed in your little bouquet that you pick up from the market or that you have sent over to you. So there's still lots of different options and different things you can play with. So don't feel that you're only constricted to what I'm using here, because there's tons of flowers that are interchangeable. There's tons of things that you can use that are still gonna serve the purpose of what we're trying to create. So I'm just taking a look to see where I have more space, what's going on. I never know when to stop personally because I love flowers and I just keep going and going. But we can kind of see for the most part that I'm gonna have to stop soon because it is full for the most part and we have a little bit of wax everywhere. And what we want is the same feeling. Everything round, everything nice and complete, that there's consistency, that there's no hodgepodges, that there's no why is this here and why is that not there. Consistency. Like in a relationship, you like consistency, right? So what we have next, we have our carnations. I'm just gonna plop in a few more in between. I like how I created these little clusters of how we have the hot pink against the pretty Earl Grey tone. So I'm gonna plop a carnation right in between there. So look at how we have a nice little cluster. We have a nice pretty little triangle cluster of that sweet and softness of the color of roses, and then we have that romantic ruching feeling of the carnation, all the petals and all the frills that come in between. Another harmony and another texture that just, I think it livens it up even more. It brings in more balance. So I'm just doing the same thing, looking throughout, making sure that I cover every little area. Thing too, when I'm playing with carnations, as you can see, our little nub down here is a little bit thicker. When we're playing with the oasis, we don't want a thick stem to put in there. So I always cut on the nub so that I can create a smaller little stem so that it's not so chunky and we're not taking up so much space. And one more carnation. Let me take a look where I may need it. I found a home for it. Fantastic. So you can kind of see from all aspects that we've created something that's all the way around everywhere. You have something to look at from every which way, shape, and angle, which is gorgeous and what we're trying to go for. So you can complete your arrangement like this and call it a day, but since it's me, again, we're gonna add a couple accessories. So I have a pretty little polka dot ribbon that I just thought was fun and playful, has a nice long tail to it. I'm gonna mimic it over here on this side next to my two hearts so that it has a nice flow and composition going downward with how the monstera leaves are falling. And just for a little bit of a whimsical touch, I just have a pretty hot pink butterfly that, you know, just to bring in something a little bit magical, a little bit playful. And all I'm gonna do is put that guy right in between where some of our roses are. Just right in between there, just to make it look like it's naturally nudged and sitting there. And you have yourself a pretty little Valentine's Day inspired compote style arrangement. As you can see, we have the gold for a little bit of opulence. We have all the hot pink, all the lushness, all the fullness of that. We have a nice green contrast to make it pop. These guys even kind of look like grass, so it's something even a little bit more natural and spring-like. We have our two of hearts down here, just giving a little representation towards our Valentine's Day nod. And then, I mean, you have something lovely to create in your home and to enjoy with each other. So I hope that you guys have an absolutely fabulous Valentine's Day filled with love. Every day is a good day to love, be loved, and give love. And I send you guys all a lot of love.